everybody. Now we are out. Where are we? Outside south of Portland. Can't remember the town name anymore. But at the Lavender Farm, there's Mom painting. She's been waiting 2 years to do that painting. Beautiful day, as you can see. We've got a nice place in the shade here. A little bit of traffic in the background. We're going to draw just a little bit with the shadows of the pine trees in the sun. So I just have some blank copy paper. Nothing fancy, nothing special. You can use just writing paper, lined paper, doesn't matter. And I'm using a pencil. But again, you can use a pen, a pencil, whatever you have handy. We're going to draw some flowers. So we're going to start, with something that's kind of rose-like. And we're going to start with a circle. And then we're just going to fill that circle in with some circles. Little circles, big circles. Fit them in the space circles. Maybe they're ovals. This is not about being perfect. This is not about being realistic. This is just about having fun and drawing. Okay, and now we're going to make some petals. And again, doesn't matter if they're perfectly shaped or not, but we're just going to make some little ovals, little arched lines. And we're going to kind of aim for 5 or 6 to go around our center. Kind of trying to keep them all the same size, but at the end of the world. And then we're just going to connect each of those petals. And then every place where we made that little arc, we're going to make another petal. Made this one kind of pointy this time, but you can keep them even if you want. And it's helpful to kind of spin the paper around as you do this. That way you can make the same little gesture in the same direction each time. And then we're going to do the same thing. We're going to run a little arc that connects each petal to the one we drew before. And now we got quite a bit more space here, so now we're going to do 2 in each space. Sometimes the spacing comes out even and sometimes it doesn't. let's finish this off just by going all the way around the outside, tracing our shape all the way around. And again, feel free to rotate your paper as you go, because that makes it easier to be consistent in all your shapes. Now I ended up with this funny kind of lopsided space, and you know, a lot of times what I like to sit in those places, circles can go in those spaces really nicely. And then we can go back and darken up anything we might want to accentuate. Put in some little lines to make some shading. Those little lines that we see in the petals. Maybe here, just kind of one solid line down the center. Here's one flower. Let's do another one that's kind of a big flower. This one starts with an X. So make an X in the middle of your space. I've got about 4 inches between my other one that I drew. And this little X is about an inch. And this is going to become our first set of petals. So we're going to draw a line to connect each of the points of the X. But we don't want to draw a tidy line. We want to draw a little squiggly line all the way around. A little squiggly line. Uneven is good. Now we're going to make our next row of petals. And what we're going to do is we're going to kind of split between each of those first round of petals. Draw a little 1/4 inch straight line. And then we're going to do the same thing. We're going to connect the points with a little squiggly line. Now our petals are getting bigger, so we're going to do the same thing, but now we're going to put in 2 lines where every petal is. And they can be evenly spaced or unevenly spaced. And again, connect the points of each line with a little squiggly line. Now we can go on as long as we want. Again, I'm splitting each petal. Although here, this one's kind of short, so I just put 1 in there. Again, that one's short, I just did 1. And I'm going to make this my last round, so I'm going to actually put a little point in the middle of the squiggle between this one. Doesn't have to be right in the center. A nice breeze going now that's blowing my paper all around. And now we can go back in. Kind of go over some of those initial lines. And again, Adding these little lines coming out of the center creates a sense of roundness, a little bit of shading. So here I'm drawing some just little short lines coming out from underneath the first round of petals. Tells our eye what is in front of, what is behind of. And you can spread them evenly across the whole width of it, like this. Or you can keep them kind of oriented towards the center and let them radiate out. You can do just a few, or you can do a whole lot. If we wanted to get fancy, we could draw a little double line here on the inside, and that gives the impression that there's a different color. So I'm just following the outside top line and then blending it in towards the center. It can be irregular. It doesn't have to be neat and tidy. There's our second little flower. All right, I'm going to start a new piece of paper. Well, no, I'm going to turn my piece of paper this way. This is the super simplest, fun little flower. All I'm going to do is draw an arc with my pencil. I'll get my hand down where you can see it. Now, because I'm left-handed, my hand naturally makes an arc to the left. But if you're right-handed, you'll want to arc yours to the right, because that will make a nicer line. So I'm just going to make an arc. And then up here at the top, I'm going to make a little upside down U shape. I'm going to make it fat. And then I'm going to make another one right on top of it, but a little bit smaller. And another above that, a little bit smaller. And another above that, until it's just a teeny tiny little ball. And then down here, another guy. You stack those U shapes. Can make them spaced out, can make them as close together as you can get them. But they just need to get smaller each time you go up. If you want, you can add a little leaf at the bottom. Any kind of oval shape, rounded or pointed, with a little line in it, will read to your eye as a leaf. And make it broad and round, and it will read as a leaf. That's a fun little guy. Let's see, what else can we do here? Let me find my little cheat sheet. This is a fun little guy. So we're going to draw a question mark, a big question mark, you know, about 3 to 4 inches in length. We're just not going to put a circle at the bottom. And we're going to put our flower right in here on this curled part. So I'm going to make my little stem just a little bit thicker. And I'm going to put in a half circle. And we could fill it with little circles like we did before. I think I'm going to do that. Actually, I think I'm going to make a little double line. Whoop, the paper's flopping around again. And then I'm going to put little circles in here. Now to make our petals, all we're going to do is we're going to do like we did on this flower, except we're going to do it as one step. We're going to make a line, we're going to make the squiggle, and we're going to come back down. So we're going to start on this edge. We're going to draw a line out, as long or as short as you want. We're going to make a squiggly irregular shape, and then we're going to come back down to our inner line. For the next one, we're going to start here out at the outside, so they'll look like they overlap a little bit. And I'm just going to start with a little curve, squiggles, and come back down. Start back up at the top, come up a little bit, squiggles, back down. Squiggles, down, squiggles, and down. And I'm going to make a little guy here to tuck in. And now again, we can add some straight lines radiating out from the base of the petal. And that will make it look like a flower. Now we can add some decor to our stem. How about some little leaves? Just anywhere you want. Just make a little leaf shape. Put a line in it. Leaf shape. Put a line. Leaf shape. Put a line. And maybe a little tendril. Out here at the bottom, let's just make a little teardrop shape. Fill that in. Now, let's see. I lost my other piece of paper. Now one last little simple guy. We're going to start making a teardrop shape. And this is about maybe 1.25 inches long. And then we're going to come back in, starting from the top. I'm just going to make it fatter at the bottom. Fatter at the bottom. And I'm going to come up to the top and I'm going to give it a little antenna almost. And then down here we can fill in. I'm going to fill in with some solid circles. And we can make another one. Make another one facing the other direction a little bit. Teardrop shape. Back in, and actually I swooped all the way around that time. Go back in at the top. Can make a bunch of little shapes. Put some little decor in here. And for a stem, just draw a little curved line. Just stay with our theme of dark circles. And you could come back and you can do any number of things. With what happens in here. We could fill this with circles. Or we could fill it with lines. Any number of things. Could do something in here. We could make some little curly cues. Going to hang out inside. So there's some fun and games. Now Now I don't dare pause this because it would then restart the video. There, well, there's our work for the day. But I just wanted to close with a poem that seems fitting. I'm going to try and hold the book. Sorry, it's wiggling all around. Get it. Try and get it where you can see the beautiful view. There we go. A poem by Murchild of Magdeburg. Effortlessly. Love flows from God into man. Like a bird who rivers the air without moving her wings, thus we move in his world, one in body and soul, though outwardly separate in form. As the source strikes the note, humanity sings. The Holy Spirit is our harpist, and all strings which are touched in love must sound.